What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going over a post from the Neville Sub called A Daily Habit for Manifesting Your Desired Reality. So here it is. I'm going to cover the post and then I'm going to do a breakdown. I'd like to introduce you to a habit that greatly helps my manifestation process. Maybe it will be useful for you too. With this habit, I received a full scholarship for my master's degree at a university that I thought was impossible. And within a few months, I manifested my celebrity crush, which I've been trying to manifest for years. As you know, you manifest your lives at every moment through your inner state, whether you are aware of it or not. When it comes to manifesting a certain desire, it is not like monitoring all of your thoughts throughout the day, or I did a few techniques and it happened over a short period of time. The process is more of a subconscious programming, completely changing the set of habitual beliefs and thoughts ever flowing and becoming your reality, so that shaping your 3D reality in a line with your desires can be continuous. In order to ensure this continuity and to preserve the feeling of fulfilling, which is the natural state of your existence by thinking from the end. There is a technique both fun and challenging. Of course, no technique manifests, they are just tools, but you know our purpose here. Okay, we know this from watching. If you guys are familiar, if this is your first time here, maybe you haven't heard this before, but that is essentially what it comes down to. Your habitual beliefs and thoughts are becoming your reality on a continuous basis. That is why down below in the description, I have a guide to identifying, removing those limiting beliefs and replacing them with the beliefs that will put you in line with your desires. Anyways, continuing on with this post, they have outlined steps here. These are their steps, step 1, 2, and 3. So let's go through them. Step 1, every day, before going to bed, write down 3 desires in a notebook. These 3 desires are required from different topics. You explain each one in a few sentences. It's never longer than half a paragraph, just 3 to 4 basic sentences. These may be specific topics or very general statements. You can write in past tense or in present tense. These are not affirmation sentences, just like some sentences from a short journal. It is important to have a notebook instead of a blank page so that it allows you to continue each day and check whether your previous desires have come true. Example 1. I spent a whole weekend with X. This was the best weekend of my life. Every moment was so romantic. I'm absolutely sure that X is in love with me. 2. My shop is filled with customers at all hours of the day. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with customers. They recommend me to each other and leave positive comments on Google. I'm making more profit every day and it means more and more money. 3. My cat's eye is completely healed. I was worried and sad when the vet said that the eye had to be removed, but now even he is amazed at how it has healed. I'm so happy to see that my cat is healthy now. She is my little baby girl and I love her so much. Step 2, match each desire with 3 feelings, perhaps accompanied by calm music and after meditation, with what you will feel when you manifest that desire. Write each one as just one word. So they have written here, for 1, being the first thing about spending your weekend with X, relaxed, joyful, peaceful. 2, for goal 2, the shop being filled with customers who love them. Self-confident, valuable, safe. Safe is such a key one. We'll talk about that later. 3, for the cat's eye, grateful, relaxed, and joyful. Step 3, from the moment you write these desires and their feelings until the next day, accept that this is your reality and you will think of each moment from the point of view where these desires are manifested. Your desires are already yours. They already have been manifested in your 4D, in your 4D. Okay. You will write 3 desires again on the night of each new day. It will not be completely the same as yesterday's request, but you may add or remove a few similar and different features with different sentences. Until you write down your desires for the next day, whenever you feel doubt, concern, a negative feeling, etc. Regard these desires. If any of them comes, You will read the sentences you wrote before and carry the feelings you associated with them. So let's get clear on this, because I think the language in this was a bit, I don't have a complete sense of clarity on what's being said here. So it will not completely be the same as yesterday. So they're saying write down 3 new desires, and it might not be exactly the same, but they're saying you can add or remove a little bit of different features with different sentences until you write down your new desires for the next day. Okay, so as you go throughout the day, whenever you feel this doubt or concern, negative feeling, read the sentences you wrote and carry the feelings you associate with them. That is very powerful. You adjusted inner state, your 4D reality. Your inner and outer worlds are connected. Will easily match your 3D reality because you realize your power and instantly achieve your desires in your mind, which is the main reality. This is naturally reflected in your 3D, just like it is a mirror of your mind now. The law is quite simple. You just need to realize how you have conditioned yourself and shift your focus to the right point. Fix your awareness on the point, your realized desire, and let the law do the rest for you. This can help you reach a higher state of consciousness and relieve you of the tension and burden of trying to manifest 24/7. This is a great outline. There's a lot of the times I'll read these posts and have certain little gripes about it. I'm not the biggest fan of using the law, because it is as if there's no other law in existence, the way people talk about the law of assumption. But everything in this is extremely true. And this is a great way, by having these associated feeling states, as you go throughout the day and have these doubts come up, it's a great reminder of what feeling states you want to have surrounding these topics. So let's go and look at some of these posts. And like I said, I'm going to give you guys my breakdown in a second. So this is gold, because you are essentially priming your subconscious mind. The neuroscience behind this is extremely well researched. Because your brain is always active at the night, it is equally active in the day. But early in the day, as we are in that groggy state as well, this is why Neville's father would sit early in the morning and overlay his day. But then Neville would go to bed, revising his whole day. Essentially, you're living your dream life doing this kind of stuff. OP writes, definitely. In fact, and I'm not sure what they mean by the father. I don't know if that's a metaphor, or his actual father he's talking about here, but whatever. Definitely. In fact, the whole secret is to replace the automatic thought and belief patterns flowing from our subconscious with the desired ones and make them permanent. The most effective time for this is, of course, at night, when our focus is not busy with 3D stimuli, and also in the morning. It also could be in the afternoon if you take a nap, or if you are in a drowsy state. It really is all about entering into that state akin to sleep, that theta alpha state of mind, that state that is in a state of relaxation. So thank you very much for this. I had never thought about doing such a technique, combining more together in this way. I'll definitely try it. Somebody said, wow, I was thinking on experimenting something like this, and here you are with this post. This process makes total sense to me. I can see myself closing my notebook with confidence and faith after writing in it. And that's a great little visualization even right there. If you're doing scripting or something like that, see yourself closing your notebook with confidence and faith after writing in it. That's dope. It's kind of like a meta visualization where you're almost visualizing yourself visualizing with that certain feeling. I mean, that's great. That's kind of like that whole Sammy Ingram affirming, I'm a master at affirming, or I'm a master at manifesting, right? Because now you're reinforcing this entire thing with confidence, so that you know that you're doing it right. You believe that you are doing it right. If there's any doubt in your mind, you're overlaying it with this new thought form, this new belief that, no, I am doing this correctly. There's no more doubt. So somebody asked about the celebrity crush thing. They said they're going to share a post about this soon. Okay, somebody else says, great tips. Haven't thought of a daily habit such as this. Does it matter what time we write these desires? Have to be before bed? Can it be any time? I also tried this right after waking up in the middle of the day, but I realized that it is most effective before going to sleep to preserve the desired feeling in your sleep and wake up in a similar mood the next day to continue your day. Of course, it's not a necessity. You should choose the time period that suits you best. Okay. So somebody else said, do you think this applies if we write down the same 3 desires every night? And the OP says, it's not, I have noticed that working on the same desires for a long time, also through SATs, affirmations, etc., loses its effect by turning into a robotic habit after a point and even becomes a kind of chore, leading to reluctance, both from my own experience and from what I've seen in others trying to manifest their desires. If you think that you will not fall into such a point, or if you do not like my suggestion, of course, they can all be the same, but I believe that changing desires, even if just a few words, keeps the mind active and renews the feelings. That's interesting. That's kind of like the process or the principle of gamifying things, gamifying your goals, having a little bit of novelty, having a little bit of variety. So I'm not going to, discount that idea. Maybe even if you are talking about the same goals, maybe even rephrasing them or rewording them to kind of breathe some new like life into them could be an interesting way of keeping it fresh, keeping it exciting rather than getting bored by it and just going through the motions. Now, somebody replies here and says, I think it depends upon how excited you are about the possibility. I fantasized about a person living at a distance for 8 months and we eventually got married. He was the love of my life. It all depends. And that's a great point too. A lot of this stuff is going to vary from person to person. If you find that you are actually, enjoying this process nightly, let's say that you're doing this process, then no need to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. So realize how you have conditioned yourself and shift your focus to the right point. Thanks for your fine post. This sentence sums up thousands of years of mystical teachings. That's quite a compliment right there. You've conditioned yourself and shift your focus to the right point. Yeah, it is about gently shifting because again, what you resist persists. That gentle shift in awareness is oftentimes the best way that we can switch our point of awareness, rather than fighting against it. It's kind of just like that energetic aikido, shifting. Thanks for your fine post. Okay, I liken it to training a horse. We must be kind and diligent on our conscious placement of attention. Yes, that's another interesting metaphor. And when the ground of experience inevitably grabs the reins, our vision knows no bounds. Our attention can be comfortably directed to any realm, any energy. When we can understand that this being aware as awareness of where our attention is hooked and redirecting in this moment is all we have to do, it makes shifting stupidly simple. All else happens without personal effort. The OP writes, I appreciate your kind comment. You mentioned an app's analogy. While we were drifting in anxious thoughts, sometimes it's hard to see what we focus on, where our consciousness grows because this process may be tiring. When we become the master of our mind and learn to control it, using the unlimited awareness, we have become much easier, and we realize that we have been making the law difficult for ourselves all this time. Yeah. All right, guys. So that does it for, there's still more comments to go, but I think that we covered a lot as far as the post and the comments. What I want to, my whole interpretation of this. So if you guys saw my interview with Lucy recently, she has a scripting technique in which she writes a letter to herself. And it is actually eerily similar to this technique. Her technique involves coming up with 4 to 5 goals. This person said 3 to 4. Writing down the goal, but also, again, in her technique, it is also with the accompanying feelings. And it is within each one that she writes them as a list of 4 to 5. And her technique involves reading this to yourself in the morning, like putting it literally on top of your phone. So it's the first thing you read in the morning. Again, reading it at night, right before you go to sleep, reminding yourself of these emotional sort of states of the way that you are going to, the state of awareness that you're going to be in by having these goals, by having received these desires, and repeating this for about a month, I think is her, as far as her technique goes. You can reference my interview with her. I'll leave the link up to it up there. And she has a free guide to her technique and exactly how to do it in her, as far as her own instructions. But it is incredibly similar to this. And it's interesting. I wonder if this person saw her technique or something like that. But this is a well-written post, like I mentioned before. It's so interesting to me too. She's talking about her cat's eye is completely healed. I actually had a situation like this where the black cat Lucifer, if you guys have seen him in our in videos of mine, his eye was infected at a certain point, and I kind of put out the intention that it would get resolved. It was a very mucusy for a long time. My partner at the time, she thought that it was some sort of something, some abrasion or something that was going to go away, and I kept telling her, no, like, this needs to be addressed. So finally I took him to this place, I Care for Animals, got a specific diagnosis, and had to go get specialty medicine for his eye. But it actually cleared up. I was giving him drops. There were drops that I had to give him 3 times a day for months that I kept on a schedule, and I gave him these drops, and it was amazing to see that his eye actually eventually cleared up. So it's so interesting how that is the example here. Um, I was concerned actually that his eye would have to be removed, or that it would have to be that he would go blind. But the way that these examples are written is very, very it's very well done. What I want to add on to this is, look at this example, for example, or these examples, the way that these are worded, and the accompanying state of feelings. That feeling of safety, I talk a lot about this actually. In my interview with Lucy, we went back and forth about how that feeling of safety is actually very, very much at the heart in a lot of these. If you can tap into that feeling of safety, that it's going to accompany almost a sigh of relief, a feeling of relief that you are finally okay. It's okay. You can breathe deeply. There's nothing for you to be concerned about, to be worried about anymore. Because often we find that the limiting beliefs that we have, that we pick up in our childhood or traumatic experiences, makes us enter into that fight or flight state. Our nervous system becomes dysregulated, and that's why nervous system regulation is so important. But when we have that true feeling of safety, like we are okay, and there's nothing to be done, there's nothing that we need to do to chase any outer thing, outer circumstance. We're okay inside. We're okay as we are. That type of feeling, that relaxed feeling, that peaceful feeling, that calm feeling, and I talk about it all the time, fight or flight, anxious or avoidant. That centered feeling is that calm awareness that is going to allow you to maintain and sustain that result in your reality. Even if you achieve that result for a little bit of time and you're in this dysregulated emotional state, it's eventually going to fall out of your reality because you don't truly feel at home with it. You don't truly feel relaxed and safe having a container for this being in your life. Whether it's the money, whether it is the state of being well known, whether it's the state of being in that relationship that you want with the type of person that you want, if deep down you feel this high state of anxiety or this high state of, again, fight or flight, anxious or avoidant, when it comes to relationships, attachment theory is a great way of describing it, but attachment theory works towards our goals as well. If it is the idea of making $10,000 a month, but you feel this crazy emotional charge about it, oh my gosh, I'm getting $10,000 a month, you're so excited about it, chances are that's not going to be sustained in your reality. And again, on the flip side, and this is what happens with this, is that we flip-flop back and forth with these things sometimes. And the superiority and the inferiority complex, again, that's what tends to happen, is flip-flopping before the two extremes, the state of polarity between the two extremes. Whereas the people that are able to sustain this, again, are calm in the centered about it. It's ordinary, it's normal, it's almost to the point of it being mundane. And that's what true confidence is. That self-confidence is, this is normal for me. It feels natural to me. I'm in this state of awareness that this is a totally normal, natural thing for me. I accept it. I love it. I want it, but I don't need it, right? And, again, this applies to your goals. This also applies to your relationships. And when you have that, let's say, use the $10,000 a month example, but you're like, oh, I don't know if I deserve this. That's the avoidant kicking in again. But oh yeah, I'm the man. I'm just so awesome. I'm doing this, so happy, so excited about it. Having that immature excitedness is the way that it comes off. Again, guys, pay attention. Pay attention. That's why I always say that awareness is the key, not these feeling states, because Yes, you can use the word feeling, but in the English language, to me personally, and I think a lot of other people feel this same way as well, the word feeling has this connotation of some emotionally charged state. You want to get rid of the emotional charge. And that's also why robotic affirming is so effective as well, because that calm state where it's just almost discharged of emotions, almost as if, this is just declaring what is without any sort of judgment on it. It just is how it is kind of the way that you want to feel. But yeah, I mean, relaxed, joyful, peaceful, confident, valuable, safe, grateful, relaxed, joyful. There's that word relaxed again. And that's why, my interview with Tim Grimes, who's like a best-selling stress management author, a lot of his stuff when it comes to manifesting is about stress management, about just literally entering into a state of relaxation, because that's how you're going to be able to sustain these results in your life. It might not be the sexiest approach, and I think he's used that before. He's said that before, but it's the approach that works. And so you have to decide: do you actually want the result? Because that's how you. And again, there's many different words for this, but a lot of people use the word detachment, detached from your desires. Ultimately, it comes down to being okay with it in your life, being okay with yourself, and feeling safe, feeling like you are protected. People say, there's all these sayings that make us scared of achieving that thing sometimes. There's these beliefs that we picked up that, I won't be safe having this. But when you believe that you're safe, that's when you're going to be able to maintain it, to sustain that result. Anyways, guys, much love as always. Drop me a comment down below. Hit this with a like. Hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.